So for the longest time, I subconsciously equated my amount of exhaustion and overwhelm to the amount of productivity and success that I had. I know, goofy. I understand and I hear you. But I had to overcome certain programming that had been ingrained in me since I was very, very young. I had to come clean with myself about the fact that exhaustion and success are simply not the same. Hey friend, welcome back to the channel. I hope you are doing well today. Grab your tea, grab your water, grab your snack or drink of choice, and we're going to get into it. We got a lot we got to catch up on today. Buckle up. Now, if you see me looking off to my left, which is going to be y'all's right, that's because I have my other phone next to me with some notes. Because if y'all know, I'm a yapper. So I need something to help me stay on track. I promise I'm staying engaged with y'all. Boop, boop. But I also need to make sure that I stay on track with what I want to talk about today. Today, we're going to cover basically 5 rooms for improvement. Yes, I said rooms, plural, of improvement that I have dealt with in the past and that I continue to deal with present day. And we're going to get into it. Point number 1 is how I learned to associate exhaustion with achievement. I know it's mind blowing, but so many of us do this. And the question is, where did we even learn this to begin with? Of course, family, social media, workplace, hustle culture, women needing to prove themselves, women of color, even more so, needing to prove themselves and always go the extra mile, needing to outperform. If you know, you know, being praised even for pushing through difficult circumstances, which we love that and people usually mean well, but sometimes it's not really addressing the issue. There's the aspect of productivity being related to our identity. Ooh, that was for somebody, wasn't it? Yeah, productivity becoming identity. If you're not productive, you're lazy, you're this, you're that. Nope, you're not. I'm here to debunk that. Exhaustion becoming validation. But validation to who? That's the real question. That's the real question. Who are you seeking validation from? Oftentimes we seek validation from both internal and external sources, and oftentimes we don't realize how unhealthy that is, what's really at the root cause of that need for validation. The anchoring thought in this is somewhere along the way, we started measuring our worth by how much we could carry. And yes, I said we, myself included, preaching to the choir. Let me run that by you one time for the one time. Somewhere along the way, we started measuring our worth by how much we could carry. Because if we weren't carrying enough, people would think our lives was easy, or family would be jealous, or whatever. That's all in our heads, y'all. That's all in our heads. Even if that was the case, people can think whatever they want to think. People are allowed to think whatever they want to think. If there's no truth, if there's no data, if there's no proof behind it, then that's just them foaming at the mouth with the brain. Here's the question that we need to ask ourselves. When did tired, not just tired in need of sleep, but like I call it soul tired, if you will, when did that start feeling like proof that I was doing enough? When did we start feeling like exhaustion was proof that we were doing enough? Let's think about it. The second point is warning signs that we oftentimes ignore. Always tired, never able to really wind down, feeling guilty about rest. Ooh, let me tell you, the amount of times I have felt like a bum, I felt like a bum for resting, which again is so utterly silly. Excuse me. It's so utterly silly to feel that way because rest is literally a basic human function. We're supposed to rest. Otherwise, our bodies are going to make us rest. I know it sounds silly when we say it aloud, and it may sound silly, but why do we do it though? That's the thing. Why do we allow ourselves to feel guilty about rest? Why do we do this? The feeling of being behind. I've literally said this, I don't know how many times to my mom, to my dad, colleagues, friends. I feel so behind. I feel so behind, especially in my more professional life. That's just simply not true. The reason why we feel that way is because we're so inundated by social media. We're constantly seeing engagement photos, babies being born, financial goals being met. As we know, a lot of social media is fake. It's fake. It's a highlight reel. We literally have what's called highlights. If you're on Instagram, you know what I'm talking about. We literally have highlights as a feature in social media. Yet we also do it to ourselves and what we choose to show and what we choose not to show. Saying, I'm fine. We need to stop doing this. Please stop doing this. Now, of course, I understand that saying I'm fine sometimes is a way for us to stay out of going in depth with people about certain conversations. I completely understand that. Sometimes we need to be real. As long as we're in a safe space, we need to be real about the fact that we're very much not fine. We're not fine. It's okay if we're not. We need to be truthful with ourselves and with the people around us. Like I said, as long as you're in a safe space, then be like, hey, you know what? I'm actually having a crap day right now. I'm having a crap day. I don't want to really do anything. That's all well and good if you're having that type of day because we all have them and that's perfectly fine. Normalizing stress and disconnecting from yourself. I'm the queen of disassociation. Where are my disassociative queens at? And kings? I have mastered disassociation. And while it can feel like a failsafe, how much of a failsafe is it when at some point you're still going to have to confront whatever the heck is going on? So gauge and measure when you're disassociating, when you're just trying to avoid dealing with a certain situation because you don't want to deal with a certain situation, even though you're going to have to anyways. Ouch. I know. Again, I'm saying this with love because I've been there and sometimes I'm still there. Trust me, I understand. The thought that we need to have about this is rest started feeling irresponsible for a lot of us. Again, goofy, I know. It started feeling irresponsible because we're so used to being programmed to think that rest is only for people who have almost literally worked themselves to death. We come from generations where there was a lot of manual labor, there was field work, there was raising cattle, there was raising chickens, hens, farming. A lot of our descendants and ancestors were farmers, they were plowing, all of that. We equate the work of 2026 to the work of the 18 and 1900s, even the 17 and 1600s. We don't have that environment anymore. A lot of manual labor isn't as common as it used to be. Of course, in some areas it is. Like in the South, there's still a lot of manual labor, for example. It's more rural and all of that to some capacity, but it's not as common as it used to be because a lot has developed since then. This feeling of I feel irresponsible if I'm not resting is from looking at a time that no longer is. And it can be difficult for older generations, some of them, to really accept we live in a completely different time now. The Pony Express versus AI generating an email. That's how we get mail around, for example. Back in the day, you used to have your groceries delivered, some of them, like the milk and the glass bottles and all that. So much has changed and developed in society. So we have to think according to what our modern day is. That's important. Some people will accept that and some people won't. It all depends on what programming you decide to have. What are our bodies trying to tell us that we refuse to hear? Whether that's past tense or present tense, what is the body saying to you? I know for a fact that your body is screaming at some of y'all watching this video. I know for a fact because mine has scrumped. My body has scrumped at me many, many a time. Again, some of it was from internal sources, some of it was from external sources. One thing that comes to mind is a form of relationship burnout that I dealt with the last person I was dating. And my whole body broke out into a horrific bout of eczema. My eczema, girlies and dudes, if you know, you know, it is one of the worst ailments you could have. I knew my body was under so much stress. It was an abusive relationship, not physically, thank God, mentally and emotionally. And my body just absolutely went crazy. That's what I'm talking about. Relationship burnout, professional burnout, because burnout isn't just in professional rooms. Of course, that's how we often hear it, is in professional spaces. But there's burnout in many different areas. And relationship burnout is one that is oftentimes not thought about, but it's definitely there. If you want me to do a video on that, I'm more than happy to do so because that's a whole ball of wax right there. Make a note of what your body is telling you. Your body is smart. The Lord created your body to do exactly what it's meant to do. Sidebar. So I'm a Christian. I've been a Christian for many years. I was born into a Christian home. My father is a pastor or a reverend or minister, whatever you want to call him. So I will be speaking about the Lord. I'll be speaking about Christianity. You hear a lot of that type of conversation on this channel. Faith, that's not for you. That's perfectly fine. I'm not here to goad you. I'm not here to drag you around the channel or anything like that. I'm just here to put out information. Whoever it resonates with, and whom it doesn't, that's perfectly okay. But I know that my calling here on this channel is important and that there are people who need to hear what I'm saying so they can know that what they're going through is not invalid. I just wanted to put that out there, all in love. We talk about the Lord around here. We talk about God. We talk about Jesus. We talk about the Bible because I believe that faith and wellness and health go hand in hand because our Creator made our bodies so fearfully and wonderfully. So just wanted to put that out there. Let's go into point 3. So, what nobody tells you about burnout, I'll tell you. As your auntie, sister, cousin, niece, grandchild, whatever you want or need me to be, I'm going to tell you. Burnout is sneaky deaky. It's very much giving, hey, little mama, let me whisper in your ear. It's giving very much that, very much ninja walking up, very much quiet assassin. Yeah, it will sneak up on you, and next thing you know, you are done for. And with it sneaking up on you like that, you start normalizing it before you know it. It becomes normal. Then the depression sets in. You start having less joy, less presence, less patience. You start getting a little bit more out of sorts with people. As women, of course, we have more hormonal peaks and valleys and such. So, of course, we're going to be a little bit more emotionally charged because of those hormones. Again, that's something generally that's outside of our control. I'm not going to be the person to invalidate when our hormones are making us feel some type of way. But you also have to be very aware of keeping your body in balance as much as possible. Putting on my health hat here. Keeping your body as in balance as possible, making sure you're getting enough rest, making sure you're eating well. You can still create some semblance of balance with that. But again, I'm not going to invalidate the fact that hormonally we deal with a lot. So that can magnify certain things. Relationships and faith and identity is affected as well. We start feeling like our self-worth takes a dip, or we feel like we're not living up to other people's standards. We may even feel, for Christians, we may even feel like the Lord isn't happy with us, or he's punishing us, or that sort of thing, which he's not. He's not. He may be testing you in certain areas, but our Father is not the type to just drag you through the mud just to drag you through the mud. That's not how he does stuff, y'all. That's not how he does stuff. So you feel like you're functioning. I'm using that term very loosely, by the way, because how are we actually functioning when we can barely get out of bed in the morning? That's not functioning. Functioning, but not actually thriving. And thriving isn't these gurus that you see on social media that are saying you can make $200,000 in a day, flashing their fake Lambos and all this kind of stuff. That's not thriving. That's just the world's goods to make you feel like you are less than. Don't pay that any mind. Don't pay that any mind. Functioning means you're able to get up and have at least a decent day. You're able to get up, wash your face, brush your teeth, take a shower, fix breakfast, go to work, take care of the kids, take care of the husband, etc. That's my AC kicking on if you hear that. It's very warm in the house. Don't mind my AC. That's what functioning actually is. Functioning is not creating this image that doesn't actually exist. So keep that in mind. Now, the scary thing about burnout, like I mentioned, is that it can feel very, very normal over time until it's not, right? So ask yourself, how long was I surviving before I realized I wasn't really living. Preaching to the choir here. Let's run that back one time for the one time. How long was it before I realized that I was surviving but not thriving? Yeah, let's let that stir in our spirit as we go to the next one. What changed my perspective? Let's kind of bring it on the upswing a little bit. First, let me grab a little tea because, girl, need us a little hydration break. What changed my perspective? What can hopefully change your perspective as well? So, questioning our definition of success and asking if that definition of success is truly sustainable. Because it's about sustainability, it's not about these short term bursts of what feels like success or like the dopamine hit or whatever. That's not success. True success sometimes is going to feel like, but I did that, but I ate that. So, look at the sustainability of success. What is your definition of success? Is it the 6, 7, 8 figure life and the Lambos and all that? If that's your thing, great. I'm not dissing on that at all. If that's your definition of success, I just want you to understand that all of this is temporal. All of this is going to go away at some point. We can't take any of it with us when we leave this earth. It's dead grass. You know how the Bible says life is a vapor? That's a vapor. It's there and is gone. Some vapors last 95, 96, 101 years. Some vapors expire at birth. Some vapors are in the middle of that. The biggest focus is what success is impactful, not only to you, to the world. What are you giving to the world that's going to be impactful long after you and I are gone? And then also realizing that busy does not equal fulfilled. You can be busy doing absolutely nothing. I'm so sorry I had to come at you so strong. I promise you it's all love. You could be busy doing absolutely nothing but stalling, procrastinating, fumbling around, all of that. Now, if you have a day where you need to bed rot, to me, that is some fulfillment because you're giving your body the rest that it needs. So, fulfillment can sometimes just be taking a rest day. Take a spontaneous rest day. Lay in the bed and get some more sleep. Go take a walk. Go to the gym. Do whatever. Get your favorite food. Whatever makes you feel truly fulfilled. Read the Bible, pray, etc. All those things. So seek what truly fulfills you. Even in your worst of times, you will come to grips with the fact that my fulfillment isn't in material things. And on top of that, become aware of your nervous system. Become truly aware, like I said, if you have to take a day to bed rot, because that's your nervous system telling you, sit your butt down. I'm going to burn out, crash and burn right now. Usually once you start feeling that, that's like pre-burnout. So be very aware of your nervous system because it tells you exactly what you need to know. Redefine discipline. Redefine achievement. Discipline doesn't mean you go so hard that you lose the discipline you do have. Slow and steady wins the race. We learn this very young. That's one thing that's actually correct. Slow and steady does win the race. Not fast and hard, not I got to be ahead of everyone or else I'm going to be behind everyone. No, that's not true. Behind who? Behind who? Who are you behind? Nobody? Nobody. You're not behind anybody. It's you against you. Point blank and period. So redefine what discipline is. See discipline as something that's positive, not negative, right? At what the results could be when you have steady, sustainable discipline and achievement. Achievement again doesn't have to be, you know, becoming a gazillionaire. Achievement could just be, hey, I did this kind gesture for this person today, even though I wasn't feeling the best myself, and I helped that person smile. And then I smiled back, and we had a nice human moment. Whatever it is, right? Always think so material with everything, right? And slowing down enough to be honest and choosing sustainability over intensity, right? Hand in hand with our last point. Slow the heck down. Slow down. I know the world moves quicker than it ever has. Like time is ticking by, even though time is ticking the way it always has. We just live in a very fast paced world, right? There's ways to borrow time, there's ways to maximize your time. And doing everything quickly, fast, and crazy is not the way to do it, right? So, yourself, the way I asked myself, is my life sustainable, not just impressive? And impressive for optics' sake, for the aesthetic, for your Instagram grid, right? Trying to get in certain rooms. No, forget all that. Sustainability over being impressive, because what is success if we can't actually enjoy it, right? We see this with so many different celebrities and influencers and all this. Some of these people were incredibly successful, incredibly talented. And what did people like Robin Williams and Whitney Houston and others have in common? Yeah, the success, all the talent, and they still were so unhappy with themselves. And of course, I'm sure there were some chemical imbalances and all of that. But even that aside, how can you possibly be so successful and be so sad at the same time? Because you're not truly fulfilled the way you want to be. There's some kind of deep rooted gap there. And while it's sad, it's the reality for so many people. We just happen to see a lot of them that are high profile. Those are the stories that get seen the most. But there's the grandma suffering from dementia next door to you. There's the wife who's dealing with abuse with her husband or from her husband down the street. There's the child that feels so unseen because no one understands that their neurodivergency is something that they can't help, right? All of these are around us, but only the high profile ones are the ones that really get to be seen, right? So enjoy your life. Enjoy it not always being big and flashy. Enjoy the simple things, right? Enjoy the simple. And then last but not least, what I practice now, what I would love for you to start implementing in your life. Take one of these and take action on it today, right? Simple routines. It does not have to be 50, 11 steps. It could be like 2 or 3 and you'd be on your way. Less pressure, especially from between our own ears where we face the biggest pressure. Recovery time matters. If you go, and you take no recovery time in between, that's what causes burnout oftentimes. You can do, let's say you're doing time blocking, for example, when you're doing admin work or whatever. If you have to do something like the Pomodoro method or something like that, or other forms of time blocking, then do it. I highly, highly encourage it. I was actually speaking about this to my therapist slash coach the other day, where she was like, be more aware of taking breaks when you're working. So I said every half an hour, 45 minutes, I want to take a break. Have I been perfect at it? Girl, nah. But it's something to have at least awareness about so you can program yourself or reprogram yourself rather to be more aware of when you need to take breaks and check in with yourself. Check in with yourself in any and every circumstance where you're like, okay, how am I feeling right now? How am I doing? Do I feel like I'm bunched up on myself on the inside? Or do I feel like I'm chilling like a villain, right? That I'm relaxed. So make note of that, checking on yourself, have those healthy boundaries, heavy on the healthy boundaries, right? Because the boundaries that you set are for yourself. They're not for everybody else, they're for you. They're a protective mechanism for you. So have those healthy boundaries in place. If you're like, hey, the house is too loud, let's have quiet time. If you have kids and you're a parent, or if you happen to be living at home with your parents, respectfully let your parents know, hey, house is a little too loud or whatever, but I need to get some work done. Whatever you have to do, let people know. Because while you think people would have awareness, sometimes they just don't. They're in their own head or they're dealing with whatever they're dealing with. So they may not have, that awareness. Let people know. Because sometimes it goes over their head and that's perfectly fine, right? Create rhythms instead of rigid systems after actually asking yourself what you need, right? Because structure is great. We need structure, especially in a world that's all over the place. But if you're too rigid with it, it can actually be counterintuitive and make you feel even more overwhelmed than having no system at all. So I like to have what's called flexible structure, where you still have some structure in place, but it's not this rigid, like, oh, I got to do this. No, if something has to be put off till another time, if it's non urgent or non time sensitive, then it's perfectly fine. The fact that we continue to keep our brains in an effective state of emergency all the time is not good. If there's a couple of dishes in the sink at the end of the day, the world is not going to implode. The dishes in the morning. It's actually fine unless you have like a significant pest problem, then please wash your dishes. But overall, it's really not that deep. It's really not that deep. And that'll help you redefine your productivity. That'll help you choose consistency over extremes. Write that one down. Choose consistency over extremes, right? Because you can be like, I'm going to work 5 hours in a row every single day. Or you can be like, actually, I'm going to work, you know, 3 hours today. I'm going to make sure I have my 30-minute breaks. Boom. There we go. Choose that consistency, right? Or if it's with your health or going to the gym, I'm going to go to the gym 2 times a week for the next couple of weeks, and then I'll increase it to 3. Stuff like that where you can really compartmentalize in your brain what's actually going on. So realize that you no longer want a life that looks successful but feels impossible to sustain. That's like the whole point of this conversation is sustainability, right? What would success look like if exhaustion wasn't part of the equation? Ooh, I know, right? Let's run that back again. What would success look like if exhaustion wasn't part of the equation? Hmm. Maybe journal about that. That's a good journal entry right there. The more we think about it, the more we need to realize that oftentimes we're not chasing success, we are chasing validation. And exhaustion just happens to be the so called evidence we use to prove to ourselves that we aren't enough. See where you're trying to get validation from, what's deeply rooted with that, whether it starts in childhood, starts as an adult, whatever. Really see what or whom you're seeking validation from and why. So, in conclusion, because we're already 30 minutes into this video, exhaustion is not a badge of honor, babe. It's not. Overwhelm is not proof of worth. Success should be sustainable. You need to give yourself permission to rethink those mindsets that are not healthy for you. Rebuilding looks different now, starting today. It looks different. Slower is not failure. If anything, slower is actually going to prove to be more successful for you. And women deserve lives they can actually live, not just survive in, but actually live in. This is my hope for you today. If you're in a season where you are questioning everything you've been taught about success, I really hope this reminds you that you don't have to earn your worth through exhaustion. I give you full permission not to do that anymore starting today. Starting today, because they're not the same. And you are worthy, point blank, period, because you are. You don't have to prove anything to anybody when it comes to that. You have to prove nothing. All you have to prove is to yourself that you are worthy, you are capable, you are more than able to have the opportunity to be sustainable for yourself, and that you don't require the validation of anybody. You don't. That's it. So I'd love to know your experience. Have you ever been through this journey where you've attached your worth to your productivity? And was there a moment, even if it was today, that you realized that exhaustion wasn't exactly success? Let me know that in the comments. I read every single one. And wow, feels good to be back, y'all. Feels so good to be back. Hit that subscribe button and turn on that notification bell if you want to keep seeing videos like this. And I'll see you soon, friend. Peace.